Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have the Toaplan Arcade Garage, Kyukyoku Tiger Heli, and M2 Shot Triggers Collection. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From publisher M2, the Toaplan Arcade Garage Tiger Heli Collection released in October of 2021 for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. This collection takes two of Toaplan's earliest shoot-'em-ups, Tiger Heli from 1985 and Twin Cobra from 1987, and gives them the M2 Shot Triggers treatment. Excellent emulation with additional information provided for you on the heads-up display, plus a lot of additional game modes and extras is what you would expect in a Shot Triggers, and they're all here. This is an excellent collection that I would recommend for fans of Toaplan and specifically these shoot-'em-ups in general. But is this a title that you would be interested in if you don't fit that category? Let's dive in and you can decide for yourself. So finding ourselves at the main menu. We've got the two main games this collection has, Tiger Heli and, well, Kyukyoku Tiger, or as it was known outside of Japan, Twin Cobra. In addition, there's also this Get Star, but we'll get to that in just a quick second. So let's talk a little bit about releases. This game is available physically, and you can still get the physical copy for both the Switch and the PlayStation 4 from Play Asia, although that is the Japanese import at this time. At the beginning of 2024, Limited Run did hold pre-orders for the Western releases of this particular title, but at this point they don't have a firm release date. Somewhere in August, I believe, is what their estimate was. This game is also available digitally on the shop fronts for both the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. But if you're looking to pick it up that way, you're not getting the entire package. There's DLC that's is included in the physical that you would have to buy separately for those particular releases. I don't know if that's going to be the case for the North American release. As far as what's included in that, so let's dive in a little bit to the menus here and you can see. So as we go and click each of the headers here, we'll pull up all the different modes that the game has. So in the base game, we've got all the arcade modes present. However, what is DLC are the consumer ones, so the Famicom and the NES versions of Tiger Heli would be part of that DLC. As for Twin Cobra as well, you have all the consumer versions, and there's actually quite a bit here. So you've got the Famicom, PC Engine, Mega Drive, and then the Twin Cobra English arcade release, which is different from the Japanese one, as well as the NES and Genesis versions. And then we also have Get Star, which is one of their earlier titles from Toaplan that also got released as part of that DLC, although this one isn't really a shoot 'em up. So for our purposes today, let's dive first into Tiger Heli. So you've got all these different arcade modes, and for myself, showing off the game, we'll go with Super Easy. I do appreciate that there's the Super Easy modes available in the M2 Shot Triggers, as it makes it just a really casual experience to sit and play the game. Initially, if you haven't disabled it, you'll get this nice how to play screen that comes up when you start up an emulation. You can, of course, on the Switch, click the Y button to disable that, or you can leave it there, your preference. Then it starts up the emulation. But one of the things I want to go and point out here before we dive into the game itself, you have all that beautiful information on the left and the right of the screen. And with Tiger Heli in particular, I feel it does a wonderful job of helping you be able to maximize your gameplay fully with all the information that's present. So putting some credits into the machine here and pressing start, we take off. So as far as the controls are concerned for Tiger Heli and Twin Cobra as well, things are relatively basic. We have a shot, and we also have a bomb. The shot does have a little bit of a rapid to it, but it's pretty slow. However, in this emulation, there is also a rapid fire button, so that is definitely appreciated. So you've got all the information over there on the left, and on the right, we've got a map. So we're coming up on one of the first areas where I can kind of show that off. If your shot counter happens to be at 16 when you get to that secret bonus car that's displayed there, you'll have a secret bonus come drive by. If you're able to destroy that car, it's worth big points. So that's a great way to go and extend your bonus or your score in a run of Tiger Heli. So we also have this like a little canister here. If you look on the map on the right, as I shoot it, you can see there's a yellow counter that's going down. If we're able to shoot this 50 times before it passes, we'll get a bonus of 10,000 points. Like for the scores of this game, that's huge. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about some of the other mechanics. So, Tiger Heli is one of the titles that's credited with giving us the bomb that's present in so many different shoot-em-ups. So if we use the bomb in this game, it drops a bomb that clusters out and destroys a lot of enemies on the ground. It does a lot of damage. So it's kind of like a great way to take out multiple enemies and kind of give yourself a little bit of defense. In addition to that, there's a really neat feature with this particular title where if you get shot in where the side your bomb is on, let's see if I can make that work out. Come on guys, help me out here. Nope. There we go. The bomb releases kind of like it's almost like an auto bomb, and that's like not necessarily even dependent on what mode you're playing in, but just in general. So here we've got our like power-ups, and they rotate through a set cycle. And one of the neat gadgets over there on the left, we can like see it'll like when one of those is present, it will rotate around. You can see what like your rotation will be and which power-up is going to be next. So two of those are what are called little helis in the game, and we've got the red one which shoots either left or right depending on which side of the plane it's on, and then there's also the white one which will shoot forward. That power-up can also yield an extra bomb as well. So we're coming up on our next bonus secret car, so let's get our counter back down to 0. We'll get that for the big points, and basically, that's what we're seeing here as far as the original Tiger Heli. The stages themselves are relatively short, consisting of 8 areas total and ending with a platform. Sometimes there'll be like these boss enemies at the end, but in this particular title, not always. And at the end of every single stage, we do have this helipad where we'll ultimately land. Our score will be calculated. We'll get bonus points for any additional bombs we're still carrying and our little helis. So that is Tiger Heli served up for your enjoyment. This title actually has a special place in my heart, as I had family that owned the NES version, and I would go and play that whenever I would visit them, and it's one of those ones that has a lot of nostalgia for me, although that title is actually quite difficult, and I never did really get very far at it when I was younger. So, if you press the start button, or rather the minus button on the Switch controller, we'll pull up the pause menu here. So, if you're playing in a custom mode, you can go into the options and adjust the options here. However, on like any of the set ones, arcade or the challenges, super easy, all your settings will be locked. But we do have some options for some of the other settings that we could adjust, but like there's actually quite a bit to go into here, so just note that that's where you'll find your game settings. However, if you you're looking to jump to a different game mode, one from this pause menu is where you do it. You'll pull up the direct menu, and here it gives us a list of everything that's in the particular collection here. So keep in mind the Get Star, the Guardian, and all the consumer versions down here are what are part of the DLC. So from here, we're going to jump into the real meat and potatoes of this particular game, the Kyukyoku Tiger, or Twin Cobra as it was known outside of Japan. Once again, showing off the super easy version just so I can more easily talk about the gameplay. Once again, we have a lot of information present here on the screen itself. There's a little less in terms of like bonus scoring in this title compared to Tiger Heli, but the information that's still there is still relevant, as you have some things like the dynamic difficulty shown there, although super easy does go and peg you at the lowest level there. One thing that is interesting is the whole like power-ups. So in this one, you've got multiple different weapons you can equip, and that power up is on a constant global timer, and we can see that global timer ticking even when none of those power ups are displayed. There's also a lot of information displayed on the left, and indeed if you don't move the border out all the way out around the screen itself, which will give us warnings of when enemies are showing up. It's not the way you want to start it by wasting a bomb, but so this is Twin Cobra. This one released in 1987, and it's definitely the stronger of the two titles released on this particular collection. Just taking a quick second to talk about all the consumer versions as well, they're all great, so definitely give them a try. So in one of the things that was added in Twin Cobra was a power-up system. So these S's will allow us to go and power up our weapon. It starts at a 0 and we can power it up all the way to a 10, so it can actually become quite strong. Those helicopters, and there'll be other types of carriers as well, give us those particular points. On the map on the right, you can see that these bonus stars do show up on that map, so you can find the location of all those stars through the course of every stage. In addition, I also appreciate that the map goes and shows us the scrolling. So here's one of those power-ups that I was talking about that has that rotation on that global timer. The one I like best on this one is probably sticking with the red, but if I had to go to another shot, either the green or the blue is fine. So we'll go green. This gives us a straight laser, specifically called the Green Storm there in the top left. B, of course, is for bomb. We can always use more bombs. In the original Tiger Heli, I believe you're just limited to 2 bombs, but in Twin Cobra, you can stockpile quite a few, and we can see those at the bottom of the screen. Let's power up our shot, try and stick to... Actually, let's go blue this time. So knowing when your power-up is going to go and change colors is very helpful, as they can help you determine when it's necessary to pick up that particular power-up, if you have a particular weapon you're interested in equipping on your particular helicopter. So at the bottom we also have some battle achievements. I'm not 100% sure exactly what all those achievements ultimately account for. It would have been nice if there was a little bit of information, more information there than just giving you certain grades for your performance in sections of the stage, but that's what that is. A playtime counter, your control information, but the real highlight, let's see, of this one once again is just seeing that rotation for the global timing on that power up, and then on the map seeing all those bonus items, and even when the helicopters that give us power ups show up, all of that. This is really a great collection, and the game itself just feels so solid in terms of gameplay. It definitely is a huge evolution from the original Tiger Heli that came out 2 years prior. So we're nearing the end of our stage, and now we've got some boss information, including, very helpfully, the life total for the particular boss. It is difficult to get in and do a lot of damage for the boss, so it's best if you can learn the patterns of the various boss enemies and take those out. And then let's see, Tiger Heli before it, once you complete a stage, we have the landing pad, and that's it for your gameplay. So one thing to go and note, there are 2-player simultaneous modes in Twin Cobra, or rather Kyukyoku Tiger Heli. However, part of the reason I'm not showing that version off today is the 2-player is actually a little bit tricky, as you can see in the map here that we can move the screen region left and right. If you're playing it with 2 players, it's possible for whichever player is moving to be able to move that screen, potentially scrolling your other player into oncoming enemy bullets. So you do need to be careful when you're playing this one simultaneous co-op. Otherwise, the co-op or the 2-player mode is 2-player alternating if you're not playing one of the 2-player versions. So do be aware of that as well. And that's basically this particular version of Twin Cobra. So going back to the direct menu, we can look at some of the other information or the other games that are here. So we've also got various challenges available to us, and then all the consumer versions. So for our purposes today, let's go ahead and end with like the Tiger Heli like NES version as we go and wrap things up. So overall, that's what we have present here in the Toaplan Arcade Garage Tiger Heli collection. Definitely, if you're a fan of Toaplan shoot 'em ups or the Tiger Heli franchise in particular, this is one I would recommend having a look at as well. I think the presentation is great, and everything that's included, especially if you pick it up physical, is well worth it. However, one thing to keep in mind as far as the minus flavors are concerned, these are higher difficulty shmups, especially if you're not playing them in the super easy mode. So that could potentially be something that you'd want to consider before picking these ones up. The M2 shot triggers do make those more accessible with the super easy mode. However, they're still shoot 'em ups that will challenge you. And then there are those issues I was noting with the two-player issue for the Twin Cobra, so keep that one in mind as well. But as far as the plus flavors are concerned, really just like the whole package, I just love how much is included in this particular release, and like I feel that the value is definitely there. So especially with this one getting a wider release than just the Japanese region, I figured it was a great time to talk about this particular release, as I really do want more people to be able to enjoy really anything that's M2 shot triggers. And really, like that's some of it is the whole like emulation that M2 provides for really anything they work on, but their shot triggers in particular definitely make them an excellent purchase for anybody that's a shoot 'em up fan. In addition to that, I really loved what they did with the M2 shot trigger gadgets this go around. So this is definitely a win of a collection, in my personal opinion. And it's great to finally see some more M2 shot triggers on the Western release, as the last time it's been quite a few years since we've actually gotten them, and I believe there's been, counting this one, 5 shot triggers that have been released in Japan that haven't. Actually, it might be 6 that have been released in Japan that haven't released in outside of that particular region. So definitely, if you're interested in importing this one, either digitally or physically, that's been available for some time, or look forward to the Western release later this year. And definitely check out some of the other shot triggers. Hopefully we'll get those shortly. Alright, that'll just about wrap it up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you have a wonderful week yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.